This is my 35-year-old brother's wife, who is 29 years old, my brother, who is 31 years old, and she have been together since high school, and they have been married for 9 years. They have 4 kids, a girl who is 5 years old, twin boys who are 4 years old, and another boy who is 3 years old. She is currently pregnant with their 5th child. She got a degree from college, but she completely ditched her career when she got pregnant with their first baby. My brother took over the family business, so I guess they are financially well off. Ever since she had her first child, she got into this annoying mother mindset, in which she literally can't talk about anything else than her kids and how much she loves motherhood. She always gives advice to anyone who is listening, always asking dumb questions that she already knows by now, just to keep the focus on her and her kids. I have 2 kids myself, so I was always understanding and tried to help her, especially with her first child, since I already was a mom at the time. But ever since the twins, she's turning more annoying every time we meet. She can go on and on for hours about her kids, her marriage, her house, basically just bragging about how perfect her life is. She seems to believe that she's in some sort of fairy tale or something. She comes across as childish sometimes. Well, I got tired of it. She was in the middle of bragging about how easy it was for her to get pregnant again when I asked if she knew how insensitive she sounded. She said that she just feels fortunate for her fertility. I let it go that time, but then she started talking about how much she enjoys motherhood and how she feels this was her calling. She said that it's so easy, and she can't imagine prioritizing a career instead of her children. Well, I snapped at that. I told her that she should stop bragging about her perfect life like that, without a care if the other women near her have fertility issues or financial problems that don't allow them to just sit at home all day looking after the kids. She got defensive and said I'm just jealous because my marriage is a failure, so I can't be happy for her. I told her that she sounded like an entitled child, along with some other things, and she started crying. Now I'm the jerk because I can't be happy for my own nibblings and their mother? I am seriously struggling to see how I'm wrong here. That's why I am asking here. Ite, I should have made this more clear, but she thinks that women who prioritize a career instead of their children are bad mothers. For example, she thinks that my marriage is failing because I work instead of staying home and focusing entirely on my children and my husband. I'm going to add this here because way too many people are asking me to explain it. She believes that once a woman has children, her life should be devoted to her children and her husband, because that's what she did. So if a woman, for whatever reason, chooses to go back to work after having children, then that automatically makes her a bad mother. In fact, our kids like to play together. We often have play dates for our kids. But when her kids come to my house, she has to come as well, since she doesn't trust that I'll take good care of her children. This is not only applied to me, but she has refused to send her oldest daughter to other kids' houses because their mothers have jobs. Basically, she thinks that to be a good mother and have a good marriage, you have to do what she did. If you don't do it like her, then it's your fault if your marriage fails and you're a bad mom. Also, I am in the middle of divorcing my husband. She thinks it's because I don't stay home and I wasn't paying enough attention to my husband. But I'm divorcing my husband because he is a man-child who doesn't do chores and even expected me to tie his shoes. My marriage is in fact failing, has failed actually, but not because of the reasons that she claims. Another edit. I don't doubt that she is happy with her life. She does seem too content. I say this because some people seem to be thinking that she's lying and she's actually miserable. Well, from my perspective, I don't think she feels that at all. I don't doubt that her life is perfect for her, but when she goes on and on about it and makes those dismissive comments about other mothers, that's annoying. Just thought that I'd give my insight on that since I saw a few comments about it. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot. It sounds like you have been ignoring her behavior for a long time already. She made motherhood and being rich the center of her life. It is pretty pathetic that she needs to brag to feel validated. She should be thankful for the life she lives, instead of rubbing it in other people's faces. Nobody likes a humble brag. Comment 2. Everyone sucks here. She sounds overbearing. She obviously has no identity left on her own. She is now solely a mother and has nothing else of worth to talk about. I totally get how annoying that is, but you could have been more eloquent about it. I don't think you are jealous per se, just tired of the repetitive dull talk about nothing. Now, for the update. Hey everyone, thanks for all the support on my last post. It's been a tense week, and I've got some updates that I think you'll find pretty interesting. So after our last confrontation, things got icy between my sister-in-law and me. We avoided each other for a few days, but with our kids wanting to play together, it was only a matter of time before we had to talk. The tension was thick when she came over for a play date, but we kept it civil for the kids' sake. Now, remember how my sister-in-law always bragged about her perfect life and how she thought staying at home was the only way to be a good mom? Well, turns out, she's been keeping a secret that blows that whole image out of the water. My brother, who's been pretty quiet through all of this, finally opened up to me one evening when he came by to pick up their daughter. He confessed that their marriage has been on the rocks for a while. Despite the happy facade, they've been fighting a lot, especially about money. Yeah, they're well off, but my brother's been stressed with the family business. It's not doing as great as everyone thinks, and with another baby on the way, the pressure is mounting. But here's the kicker. My sister-in-law has been feeling trapped in her role as a stay-at-home mom. She admitted to my brother that she misses her career and feels like she's lost a part of herself. She's been secretly taking online courses to refresh her skills and has even considered looking for a job. My brother was supportive, but she's terrified of what our family and her friends would think if they found out. The plot thickened when I caught her on a call in our guest room during the playdate. She was talking to someone about job interviews and updating her LinkedIn profile. I couldn't believe it. The woman who judged me for working was now trying to get back into the workforce herself. I confronted her about it after the call, and she broke down. She confessed everything, how she felt like a hypocrite and was scared of being judged. She was worried about how it would look if people found out she wasn't the perfect stay-at-home mom she pretended to be. I was floored. Here she was, the same person who criticized me for not being a good enough mom because I worked, now in the same boat. I'll admit, part of me felt vindicated, but another part of me felt sorry for her. It's not easy to admit you're not living the life you want, especially when you've spent years building up a certain image. We had a long talk, and I told her about my own struggles with balancing work and family. I shared how hard my divorce has been, not just because of my man-child ex, but because of the judgment from others who think I failed as a wife and mother. In a weird twist of fate, this whole mess has brought my sister-in-law and me closer. We're both dealing with the pressures of motherhood and the expectations placed on us. We agreed to support each other, no matter what path we choose, stay-at-home mom or working mom. But just when I thought things were settling down, another surprise dropped. My brother found out about her job search and confronted her. They had a huge fight, and she ended up staying at my place for a couple of nights. It was a mess, with the kids confused and upset, and my brother at a loss for what to do. Now, they're trying to work things out, but it's clear that things will never be the same. My sister-in-law is determined to find a job and reclaim some independence, and my brother is slowly coming around to the idea. They're both learning that the perfect life they portrayed isn't as important as being honest and happy. As for me, I'm just trying to keep my own life together while supporting my family through this unexpected turn of events. It's been a reminder that no one's life is as perfect as it seems, and we're all just doing our best. I was child-free for 33 years, but then I got pregnant, and my friends said they won't meet my baby. Oh boy, they didn't know my partner would do this. I, 33-year-old female, was child-free and wanted to stay that way for most of my life, and all my friends are the same. My partner and I talked a lot about the pros and cons of having kids, and we both agreed I wouldn't abort if I ended up pregnant, but we won't actively work on having kids. However, in the last year, we wanted kids more and more. First, we wanted to foster. Adoption is nearly impossible in our country, but then we sort of ended up pregnant. I'm due to give birth soon, and my friends are being rude about it. I told them off and called them cruel, and they called me a selfish jerk. So, context. Since I have purposefully been child-free most of my life, I am aware of the downsides of having kids. I personally think a lot of people are being unwise when they decide to have kids, and a smaller population is generally better. However, I never said these things to someone's face, especially not when they were expecting. One cannot know people's motives for having children or not having children, and I never judged. Whether you have offspring or not is completely irrelevant for me to see you as a person. When I got pregnant, I was delighted but scared, naturally. I am an anxious person by nature, and I always talked through things with my friends who were always there for me, until the topic centered around my pregnancy. For the past 7 months of pregnancy, every time I mentioned something negative relating to pregnancy, like having nausea, back pain, insomnia, my friends jokingly said, "Well, you got yourself into that shoot. Now suffer, ha ha ha." At first, it was a joke, but sometimes it gets really hard. And considering we always complain about something, one of the friends literally cried the other day because she missed the beginning of a movie in the cinema, and nobody said anything to her. I don't think me whining about the discomfort of carrying a baby is too much. Lately, they have even taken it further by saying they won't come by our place when the baby is there. I mean, where should I put the baby? They also say things like, "Nice knowing you," and now you won't be able to go to concerts with us. Even though when the concert happens, the baby will be 7 months old, and I have tickets and plan to go. One of them even went so far as to tell me that they don't even want to meet my baby. And that's when I lost it and called them all cruel. This resulted in backlash, calling me a selfish jerk because I decided to have kids, and I shouldn't be imposing the kid on them. The thing is, I am not imposing anything. The kid will simply be there, and I never mentioned anything about them babysitting or being included in the baby's life in any way. I just think I am going through something life-changing, whether it was my decision or not. And I just don't want them to dump their negativity on me whenever I mention anything related to my pregnancy or baby. I don't know. We have all made some bad decisions in our lives, and we were all there for each other. But this feels like I am their personal landfill because of their own issues with natalism, antinatalism. Opinions? Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Child-free person here. Not the idiot, but your friends are. I hope you fully understand the friendship will change, and it's not because of your friends. Being a mother will change your routine, priorities, etc. And guess what? It's normal. Love doesn't need constant company. Love needs love. I love my friends who are mothers. I don't see them as frequently as before. And sometimes I smile at kids' pictures/videos that I would not necessarily find cute or funny. But I love them. I'm here for them, and guess what? One of these kids stole my heart, and now I'm a bit of an auntie. Your friends might not have a change of heart, but if they truly love you, they should be there for you. If not, there are loads of childless people who would love to be your friend too. Comment 2. You knew they were child-free and antinatalist before getting pregnant. You should have assumed the friendship would, more likely than not, end after announcing pregnancy. The friend that doesn't want to meet your child, that should also come as no surprise. Friendships end and nothing lasts forever. Lives change, people change. All sides have just outgrown this friendship. Now for the update. Hey everyone, it's been a week since my last post, and boy, do I have an update for you all. Remember how my friends were being super rude about my pregnancy? Well, things escalated, and then took a turn I never expected. So, after the big blowout with my friends, I was feeling pretty down. I mean, these were the same people who had been my rock through every bad breakup, every work crisis, and every family drama. We'd been through thick and thin together, but suddenly, because I was having a baby, it was like I'd committed the ultimate betrayal. But then, something happened that I never saw coming. My partner, who's always been the calm and collected one, got really upset about how my friends were treating me. He's usually the type to keep the peace, but seeing me so stressed out and hurt, he couldn't hold back anymore. He decided to confront them. He called up the ringleader of the group, the one who'd been the most vocal about not wanting to be around our baby, and asked to meet. I was nervous about what would happen, but he insisted, so they met at our favorite coffee shop, the one where we'd all celebrated getting our first jobs out of college. I wasn't there, but my partner told me all about it afterward. He laid it all out, telling my friend how their behavior was affecting me and how it wasn't fair to judge our choice to have a child. He reminded them of all the times I'd supported them, like when one of them decided to quit her job and travel for a year, or when another went through that messy divorce. To my shock, my friend broke down. It turns out she'd been struggling with her own issues around having kids. She'd always wanted them, but was facing fertility problems. She'd been taking out her pain and frustration on me because it was easier than dealing with her own sadness. After that heart-to-heart, things started to change. My friend apologized to me, and we had a long, emotional talk. She opened up about her struggles, and I shared my fears about becoming a mom. It was like we were finally seeing each other clearly again, without all the anger and hurt in the way. The rest of the group slowly started coming around too. They admitted that they'd been insensitive, and that they'd let their own opinions about having kids cloud their judgment. We all had a big group meeting, full of tears and apologies, and it felt like a huge weight had been lifted. And then, the most amazing thing happened. Just when I thought things couldn't get any better, my friends threw me a surprise baby shower. It was nothing fancy, just a small gathering at my house with homemade cake and second-hand baby clothes they'd collected from family and friends. But it was perfect. They even promised to help me get to that concert when the baby was 7 months old, taking turns babysitting so I could have a night out. I was overwhelmed by their kindness and how they'd come together to support me. It was like we'd all grown up a little more in that week, learning to accept each other's choices and be there for one another, no matter what. Brother-in-law insists on paying for our family dinner, but he's in for a big surprise when the bill is over $2,000. Oh boy, my sister's reaction is priceless. I travel a lot for work, so I rarely see my family. I try to get back to see them a couple of times a year. When I do get to town, I like to take everyone out for supper at a nice restaurant. Not a 3-star Michelin restaurant or anything like that, but still a pretty hefty price tag. The party would be myself, my parents, my sister, her husband, their 2 kids, my brother, his girlfriend, and their 2 kids. So, 11 people altogether. The bill is usually between $600 and $1,000. It is a lot of money, but I like to treat them. I look forward to seeing my nieces and nephews without their faces buried in a screen. They love going out to a fancy restaurant. I don't know why, but the whole thing irks my brother-in-law. I just found this out. He seems to think that I'm doing this to show off. I'm not. I have an uncle that helped me get started on my career, and he used to do the same thing when I was growing up. He went more extravagant as well. I remember one year he took our family, about 26 people, to Disney World. That was 30 years ago, but I imagine it wasn't cheap. He said it was our Christmas and birthday gift for the year. He lied because I still got a card with $50 in it, twice that year. I had a good year, and this holiday, I took everyone to a fairly expensive steakhouse. When the bill came, my brother-in-law grabbed it and said he was paying this time. I said for him not to be crazy. I invited everyone out. It was my treat. He insisted. I didn't want to cause a scene, so I dropped it. When he looked at the bill, he went a little white though. I had allowed all my nieces and nephews to bring along someone if they were dating. 3 took me up on it, so there were 14 of us. The bill was a little bit more than $2,000. Plus tip, call it $2,500 when everything was said and done. He paid it. I went for coffee with my sister the next day. She didn't bring it up, but I did. I said that I was not mad, but a little upset that he had done what he did. She said she was mad because they didn't really have a spare $2,500 to waste. I was surprised at this, so I asked her if she thought it was a waste for me to take everyone out. She apologized and said she was just angry that he blew a hole like that in their budget. I gave her $2,500. She looked like she was going to cry. I told her that I took everyone out because I am missing seeing them grow up. I miss seeing all the family stuff they get to do. I blow through town for a week, and I just want good memories. My brother-in-law called me later that day and said I was a jerk for letting him pay and then going behind his back with my sister. I told him I wasn't going to tell anyone about the money and that I wasn't trying to hurt him. They could just keep it on the down low. I'm just wondering if I should have insisted on paying instead of letting him think he blew his family's grocery budget for a couple of months on one meal. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot. You can't win with some people. Your brother-in-law sounds like he's jealous of your financial stability. You weren't flaunting anything. It would be different if you had said something like, I'm taking you peasants out because you'll never live like this without me. Lol. My sister dates a guy like your brother-in-law. He claims to feel emasculated when my sister pays for anything. So she got him a card to her account with his name on it. We all go out to dinner, and he insists on paying, or makes a big deal about paying, when he's really just swiping my sister's card. You were just trying to do something nice for your family, as you don't get to see them as often. Comment 2. Not the idiot, but you could probably understand where the brother-in-law is coming from, wanting to pay for things too. Pride and all that jazz. Just FYI, the classy, hassle-free thing to do if you are treating like this is to give them the card ahead of time, and the table never sees a bill presented. Instruct the service staff that if anyone asks, simply say, it's been taken care of, with no mention of by whom or when. It eliminates all the back and forth or any feelings. Now, for the update. Hey Reddit, It's been a week since I posted about the dinner situation with my family, and boy, do I have an update for you. Things have taken a turn, and not for the better. So after the whole ordeal with my brother-in-law paying the bill and me giving my sister the money back, I thought that would be the end of it. But nope, it was just the beginning. My brother-in-law, let's call him Dave, has been stewing over this for days. He's always been the type to hold a grudge, but I never thought it would be against me. A few days ago, I was at my parents' house when Dave showed up unannounced. He was fuming, saying that I made him look like a fool in front of the whole family. I tried to explain that wasn't my intention, but he wasn't having any of it. He accused me of trying to one-up him, which is ridiculous because I've been doing these dinners long before he was in the picture. The confrontation got heated, and my brother, who's always been the peacemaker, stepped in. He reminded Dave of the time when we were kids, and our uncle took us to Disney World. He said that I was just trying to do something similar for the family. But Dave didn't care about the backstory. He was too caught up in his own pride. Now here's where the heartbreak comes in. My brother's girlfriend, who's been with him for years and is practically family, overheard the argument. She's always been close to my sister, and she didn't like how Dave was treating me. So she decided to confront him herself later that day. She told Dave that he was being unreasonable and that his ego was hurting the family. She said that everyone appreciated what I did and that he should be grateful instead of angry. Well, Dave didn't take that well. He lashed out at her, and they had a huge fight. It got so bad that my brother and his girlfriend are now on a break because of the stress it caused. I feel terrible. I never wanted my actions to cause a rift in the family. My brother's girlfriend is heartbroken, and my brother is caught in the middle of this mess. I've tried to reach out to both of them, but they need space to figure things out. As for my sister, she's been trying to smooth things over with Dave, but it's not going well. She told me that they've been having problems for a while, and this incident just brought everything to the surface. She's been confiding in me about their issues, and it's clear that their marriage is on rocky ground. The kids are feeling the tension too. My nieces and nephews have been asking why everyone is so upset, and it's hard to explain to them that it's all because of a dinner. They don't understand the complexities of adult pride and finances. I just wanted to create good memories, but now I'm worried I've done the opposite. And to top it all off, my parents are upset that their children are fighting. They've always been proud of how close-knit our family is, and seeing this divide is breaking their hearts. They've been trying to mediate, but it's not easy when emotions are running high. So, here I am, feeling like I've caused more harm than good. I'm leaving town soon, and I'm worried about leaving things like this. I've been trying to make amends, but it seems like every attempt just makes things worse. If you liked this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.